What that allows us to do is we can effectively play in and join in. Another progression that we might get now is we might get the 9 dropping into overload with players. Hello, my name's Leigh. I'm a grassroots coach development officer for the women and girls game in the London and South East region. Today's session is called North, South, East, West, and the focus or the aim of the session is on receiving to play forward with a particular emphasis on the midfield 3. So the objectives of the session are to encourage my centre halves to be good on the ball and look to play forward, picking out the right pass, so looking at where to pass, when to pass and how to pass. So that helps our midfielders receive and look to play forward. And then for our striker, different type of receiving, typically with their back to goal to receive and try and create scoring opportunities for themselves or others. Okay, so the session I'm going to do today, as I said, north, south, east, west. So we're looking at an area of about 30 by 30 in the midfield, like so, with an end zone at either end, and that'll be for my blue team. So if I put my blue team out on the pitch now, so 2 centre halves at the back with the ball, 3 blue players in midfield, and a striker, and I'll use my goalkeeper in order to play through to them. And I'll bring the yellow team on in a minute, so I'll just show how the practice works. So the idea of the practice is it's going to be run in 3 parts. So it'll be an unopposed warm-up with a little bit of interference, into an opposed practice, and then into a 7v7 game. So the idea of the practice is the blue team switch play from one centre half to the other, and then they play combined through midfield and into the 9 or the goalkeeper. Once the ball travels up the other end, because it's a warm-up, the play can come back the other way. The benefit of coming back the other way is that ball rolling time is increased. Players will get lots of movement, lots of contacts on the ball. Later on, we'll make it a directional practice because then that supports principles of play such as penetration, but also means position-specific roles and responsibilities are maintained with the integrity of the game. So the Blues, once it goes to one end, they'll switch and they'll look to play through and back to the other end, and then the practice starts again. At the same time as that's going on, I'll have an area here on the outside for target players for the yellow team, and keeping with the name of the game, while blues are playing north to south, yellows will be playing across east to west. So again, 2 centre halves with the ball, 3 midfielders, a 9 and the goalkeeper at the far end. And just to reinforce the points, they will play through midfield and switch, and then the music comes back the other way. During the warm-up, it's possible to rotate players, so the 5 and the 6, the 9 and the goalkeeper could play on the inside of the pitch, so they get lots of contacts on the ball. Once we go into the main practice, obviously I want players playing in a position that relates to their position on the pitch. The goalkeeper can play with their feet. We'll bring a goal in a little bit later, but the benefit of the keeper is they're playing on the outside of the practice, they're playing with their feet, which is consistent with what they would do on match days. Okay. The good thing about this practice is although there's not opposition, so the yellows aren't trying to tackle the blues and take the ball off them, there will be interference. What I mean by interference is if, for example, the blue 6 plays to the 5 and the 4 looks to move away, we might be able to play that straight pass through. Alternatively, the yellow 4 and the yellow 10 looking to receive their ball might actually be in the way inadvertently. What that means is it's increased decision making for players on and around the ball. So to solve this problem, the 5 might play into the 10 and then bounce back to the 4 to go forward, or the 4 might just adjust their position in order to be in space to then receive and play forward. Once we've done the warm-up, we will take 1 ball out of the practice. So now we're playing an opposed practice. So the Blues, the practice works in the same way. The centre halves will switch play. The Blues look to combine to play forward, and then they can play into the goalkeeper or the 9, and that counts as a point or a goal for them. In terms of the transition moment, what we're looking at then is the Blues switch the ball to the Yellows. They switch play between themselves. That's really important because it gives the players time to adjust to the transition moment and work on that movement, positioning, scanning. And then the ball comes into the Yellows and they're looking to play there. And yet again, it will be switched back to the centre half. So we have a directional practice with opportunities for tackling, intercepting. If you win the ball, you just play to your own team and then just try and score a goal like that. Okay. Things I might do to help my players. Key thing here is I might grid out the midfield area. So if I just focus on the blue team, I've now put 4 boxes in the middle. The thing I might say to my blue players as a starting point is try not to be in the same box as your teammate, because typically what you find is all the players will come to the ball with a closed body shape. So actually getting them to be in different boxes, as you can see here. So the 4, the 8 and the 10 have got a good team shape between them. That supports the principle of creating space as a team and makes it harder for the yellow players to defend against all options. The other point there is from an individual perspective, what I would like is rather than a closed body shape where the players are just looking at the ball and can't see what's going on behind them when we want to play forward, I would look for them to be on the half turn, and the information I might give them there as a little challenge is, can you see the ball and the 9, the target player that you're looking to play forward to? A progression from this to engage the centre halves is if the ball's switched there from the 6 to the 5, the 4 clears the space and there's no better passing option. What I might now say to the 5, what they might do in a game is if everybody's marked and there's space in front of them, they might decide to drive into the space to overload the midfield and then invite the opposition to come and engage with them, so then we can get combination play. What that might lead to is one of the players, in this instance 4, might just drop in and fill that space. So now you're starting to get into roles and responsibilities for individual players. So my final progression to take the players into a game is we've now removed the areas on the outside of the pitch which the yellow target players and centre halves were occupying, and we'll extend the pitch with a goal and a goalkeeper at either end. It's important that you extend the pitch rather than just putting the goal on this line, because otherwise the player's condensed and the goalkeeper will be occupying space occupied by the centre halves. So effectively the conditions will have changed, which makes it harder for the players to achieve successful outcomes in the game. So this area will go in here at the other end with a goal and a goalkeeper. So now 2 centre halves coming against the 9, and the yellow 9 goes and plays up top there. So now the practice very simply is a game. So we can start to think about if we wanted to stage between the opposed practice and the game, where we wanted to give players a chance for success and have some structure in the practice, we could put a rule in that says out of possession players are locked into their zone. So what we mean by that is the blue keeper's got the ball, so the yellow 9 is locked into this attacking third, the 4, the 10 and the 8 are locked into midfield, and the 5 and the 6 and the goalkeeper are locked into the defensive third for them, or the attacking third for the Blues. What that allows us to do is we can effectively play in and join in. Another progression that we might get now is we might get the 9 dropping into overload with players looking to run beyond and exploit space freed up by the 9. So that's something that we can have as an interim step just to give players some chance of success. When the yellows regain the ball, the Blues must adopt a 1-2-3-1 formation, and the yellows get a chance to have a go at overloading. Important point there, if you notice, the formation is consistent for the Blues, who are now out of possession, but it might be different players. So the 10's now occupying the centre forward spot temporarily, the 9's dropped into midfield, which will happen in the game. So players read and react to the transition moment. One technical point that we haven't introduced yet is from the goalkeeper's possession, or wherever we get the ball at the back, so we don't always have to start from a structured start. We're encouraging playing through the thirds. The danger can be if we insist upon that, it's easy for the opposition to press us and make it difficult for us to create space. So one thing that can help with that is, I'll just pop the 9 back there, is we'll encourage the goalkeeper now to look to play the safest, furthest forward pass they can, which supports the principle of penetration. So the idea of the practice is, can we maintain control possession to get into the attacking third with good possession, good support, in order to get a shot on goal. However, if we can do that in one, that's a more efficient way of solving the problem. A side benefit of that is if we consistently play the ball long, the opposition are likely to react to that by dropping off to protect the space in behind. What that now does is create space for us in defence and midfield that we can play through.